What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Combat and Kick It. You already know, it's your host, Bando. We're here to review UFC 308. Ilia Topuria called his shot, and he got it done. He answered my question. He answered a lot of people's questions. Can he get it done? Can he be the first guy to knock out Max Holloway? And the answer is yes. Let's get into the review. So UFC 308 was an interesting card. Now I'm going to review the main card because that's what I broke down. But there was other fights on this card that had some interesting moments, right? There was two finishes that were actually pretty shocking to me. And damn, why that song? But there was two finishes that were kind of shocking to me, right? You had Chris Barnett going in there against Kennedy and Chekzui. And, you know, it was Kennedy's first fight as a heavyweight. So I thought, you know, maybe because he's going up in heavyweight, you're about to feel different power, and Chris Barnett might have been able to get it done. But it seemed like in the fight, or maybe even before the fight, during the Bruce Buffer introductions, he hurt his hamstring, hurt his leg somehow, some way, and that affected him in the fight, and he ended up getting finished. The other one on this card was RDA versus Jeff Neal. The fight I forgot was even on the card. Jeff Neal looked like he was landing really good shots, landing good left hands. He was putting RDA to the ground. And then I don't know where exactly it happened, but RDA also injured his leg. He twisted his knee or something like that. He wasn't even able to walk out of the octagon. So just wild moments. Both went down as TKOs. But, you know, it sucks because it takes away from what you could have seen. I think Jeff Neal and RDA would have been a very good matchup, and you got such a long time for these guys training, getting prepared for something. You know, it's tough. Hopefully we can get Jeff Neal to get a fight, you know, quickly again, get him to run something back, maybe get him a fight in December because he took no damage. He had literally didn't even get touched in that fight. So through all that training camp, you got to give him something that's a little bit worth it. But hopefully the money was worth it. That should be where it's at. But fight of the night, in my opinion, and it was in the UFC's opinion apparently too. But that fight, Rebecca versus Orolbai, was slugfest. One of the bloodiest fights I've seen this year. There was blood all over the canvas. Orolbai's eyes were like swollen shut. Looked like he had a broken orbital bone. Come to find out, he didn't. It was just, you know, swelling. Severe swelling, a lot of swelling. His eye was completely shut. I don't even know how the fight got continued once they took a slight look at that eye. But he was bleeding heavy. His eye was shut, and he kept on bringing it. He kept on trying to fight. It was back and forth on the ground, back and forth on the feet between him and Rebecca. And that was a fantastic fight. That was all out a war of two dudes trying to bring their heart out and just put it and leave it in the octagon. They sure did. And it was a fantastic fight. So, well-deserved bonus for them to get the fight of the night bonus, no doubt. So, I had to mention that on there. The quick finish. There was a quick finish by Ibo Aslan. I'm not even hip. I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm not even hip to him, but now I'm hip. Beautiful finish. Beautiful quick finish, too. Very quick. Got it done within 51 seconds of the first round. So, but, you know me. I break down the main card. So I'm going to review the main card. So, opening the main card was Sharabutin Bullet Magomedov. We all predicted that he was going to get this done. None of us could have predicted him to get it done this way. He knocked out Armen Petrosyan in the third round with a spinning back fist into a spinning back fist again. So he threw the spinning back fist and missed the first time. And instead of fully spinning like a 360 and coming back out, resetting, he just snapped back and threw the other arm and knocked him out cold. That was nasty. A walk-away KO. Definitely deserved a KO bonus on that one. No doubt in my mind. If he didn't, I'm going to be shocked. If he didn't get that, I'm going to be shocked. But that dude is solid. He's solid, but there was some moments where Armen Petrosyan was tagging him. He was getting through the leg kicks. They were trading leg kicks back and forth. They were checking leg kicks back and forth. It was a very, very, like, fun striking matchup, and it was a hard striking match. These guys were throwing heavy shots. They weren't point fighting type of kickboxing striking matchup. No, they were throwing shots, looking to get the finish. And Sharabutin Magomedov remains undefeated by getting the finish in a fantastic way. That had to be knockout of the night. That was my knockout of the night. Moving on, you had Lerone Murphy got the win, unanimous decision win over Dan Ige. And it was kind of a slight comeback win, right? I thought Dan Ige took the first round. Thought Lerone Murphy was gonna. I thought Lerone Murphy was gonna be sleeping. Honestly, I don't understand how he wasn't. Dan caught him with that nasty left hook. He looked like Lerone Murphy. I'm not even sure if he was going in for a takedown, what it was. So it was at work, so I was kind of trying to watch and work at the same time. But he threw a left hook, caught Lerone Murphy. Lerone went down. Dan went for the finish, swarmed him. Just didn't seem like he can get that one more clean shot to get the finish. And because he did not get that finish, Lerone Murphy came out in the second round and third round and did what I said that he probably shouldn't do. I didn't think it was going to work. He did the exact same thing that he did against Edson. A little bit of striking, shot down, did some control on the ground, control up against the fence, land some good shots on the feet, land some good shots on the ground. Lerone Murphy's the truth. Another fighter that remained undefeated tonight. And he performed very well. I'm a big Dan Ige fan. I had Dan Ige winning this fight. I thought he was going to win this fight by KO, and it was very, very close. But if you can't get it done against a guy like Lerone Murphy, and he's able to figure out your strategy, your game plan, what you're doing and everything, he starts reading you a little bit, he's going to be able to break you down and figure you out. That's how he is. He's a great fighter. He's a great striker. He's got good ground game. He brings a lot of interest to this division, this 145-pound division, which is, very interesting as of this moment. And, we'll get to that sooner or later. But on to the next fight. Magomed Ankalaev got the decision win over Alexander Rachik, whatever you want to say. Everybody pronounces it different. Pretty good win by Magomed Ankalaev, but Rachik did his thing. He caught him with some good shots. He was getting in. He was making it tricky. And honestly, I saw things that Magomed Ankalaev would have to tighten up on going into the fight with Alex Pereira. It's a different type of striking matchup up against Alex Pereira. And, he's going to have to bring some heat. We know that's going to be the fight that's made next. Dana White says that he did good enough to deserve that. Actually, he didn't even confirm that. He just said that he did well tonight, and he did. He fought well against Alexander Rachik. I can't really say anything bad about the performance. I'm not the biggest fan. It wasn't extremely exciting, but he put a little bit more action to the fight than he usually does, right? And I think that is because, one, he's trying to get this title shot, and two, I think it's one of those things where you got a guy like Rachik who is so tricky. He's gonna force you to try to just fight because your game plan and strategy isn't working because he's so weird with his his stances, the way he throws his kicks. He's long and rangy and powerful at the same time. He's got good leg kicks, so it kind of did trick Magomed Ankalaev out a little bit, and he even said that too. He said that in the post-fight press conference. So it was a good win. Can't take nothing from him. So he keeps on pushing. His streak keeps on rolling, and looks like his streak is going to roll him right into a title shot with Alex Pereira. So we'll see when that's going to happen. I could see them trying to get Alex to fight one more time, and that would be a December card. But I don't think they're going to double up with a December card. They already got the Bilal versus Shavkat for December, so I don't see them doubling up. But I could see the new year opening up with Alex Pereira. You never know. That man will fight any given day, any given time against anyone. I don't get how Ankalaev says he's running. That's blasphemous. That man is not running. You got there now, right? You're here now. You might get the title shot. Before, you were not here. You didn't get to that point where you needed to be to get here, and now you're here. Now to the co-main event. It was a heartbreaker, honestly. Being a Bobby Nux fan, just wanting to see him get wins, just wanting to see him get a title shot again, put himself back in position to fight a guy who already beat him with Dricus. He wants to, it would be dope to see him get that win back and get that win back with, as a title shot and stuff like that. But tonight wasn't his night. So, as we all could have predicted, Khamzat shot pretty immediately. And it was quick. He shot fast. It was a good entry. It was a fast entry. And Rob had good defense. Rob was defending things he needed to do on the ground. He was rolling out. He was spinning out. He was doing good, right? It was one of those things where we know if this fight gets past this, if Rob can just withstand all this chaos in the first round, maybe a little chaos in the second round, Khamzat will be forced to stand up. And at that point, Rob will start picking him apart and mixing up the game himself. But unfortunately, Rob didn't get the chance to do that because in this one, Rob didn't really get like submitted. You know what I mean? Like this wasn't, oh, Khamzat secured the choke on him and Rob tapped. Oh, he secured an armbar and Rob tapped. No, he literally broke the bottom of his mouth. I've never seen nobody's teeth do what they did with the Rob Whittaker thing. But it's nasty. If you haven't seen it, go look it up. It's on Instagram. Whole bunch of different MMA pages. Just type in something MMA or hashtag Robert Whittaker. I'm sure you'll find it. It's a foul looking picture. It's pretty nasty. So Khamzat was looking for the choke, right? And in the process of looking for the choke, he started cranking. And when he cranked, it was kind of a crank to not only try to get under the neck, but also gain a better position. And with that, he got that so tight, it broke the bottom of Rob Whittaker's mouth. His teeth were not here. They were like back here. Like they were far back. His jaw probably slightly broken. Nasty. Another fighter on this card who stays undefeated. That's three so far. 3 fighters so far on this card staying undefeated. Something about Abu Dhabi. I don't know what it is, but there was some suspect moments leading into the weigh-ins with Khamzat. A lot of people didn't talk about. The Guru talked about it, but a lot of people didn't talk about it. The suspect weight. The way they do. The way they do the weigh-ins over there. Just I don't know. I'm gonna shut my mouth. I just don't think it's always normal. But not saying like anybody cheated, nothing like that. Just they be pretty quick trying to, do the scale. Pretty damn quick. They did it with Khabib. They did it with Khamzat. They've done it with Islam after his IV hydration stuff. So, a lot of sussy stuff sometimes that happens over there in my opinion. But there's nothing sus about Khamzat's performance. There's not me sitting back saying, oh, he's juicing or, oh, no, there's nothing that I can say. Rob physically looked like the guy who was going to maul Khamzat. Honestly, I felt like Khamzat was looking soft through this week. Physically, thought he was looking soft. Big but soft. Rob looked like a beast in there. And like I said, if Rob could have got past that first, initial onslaught, that fight would have been very different. But it still would have been different because I don't think Khamzat would have actually secured a choke without breaking the bottom of Rob's mouth. Just happened to be that way. If that did not happen, I can see that fight still going 3 rounds, 4 rounds, maybe even into the 5th round. But Khamzat got it done, so congrats off to him. He's going to be sitting back waiting for the next title shot. I'm sure the title is going to be Dricus and Sean Strickland too. And after that, you got your number 1 contender locked in right there. There's no argument. That's it. Unless you want to try to do something like Khamzat versus Imavov, which ain't going to sell to anybody. That's your number 1 contender. Simple as that. And last but not least, something I couldn't have truly predicted, but I guess if you sit back and say, if someone was going to do it, it was Ilia Topuria, and he knocked out Max Holloway. I mean, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to see. It sucked. I didn't want to see Max get knocked out. No one wants to see one of their favorite fighters get knocked out. And Max has been such a savage with the jaw for so long. But I think one of the main issues of doing this is he went up and fought Gaethje at 155 where he could stay healthy. Not a bad weight cut. He could put on a little bit of weight. He could put on muscle. He couldn't do that for this fight. He had to cut down. He had to go back. Not making excuses for him, but it's a much different. A lot of people are like, oh, how did he not get knocked out by Gaethje but gets knocked out by Topuria? Well, weight cuts make a huge difference. And two, Topuria's hands are lethal. I mean, there's nothing else that can even be said about it. That man, Ilia Topuria, is a monster. Absolute monster. His boxing is beautiful. He has the best boxing in the UFC right now. Who's going to argue that? Who wants to argue it? There's nobody that is that technically sound, right? I didn't want to hop on the bandwagon, right? Because I seen him get caught with some shots, some interesting stuff, but there's nothing bad that can be said about this man's talent. He knows how to box in the proper way to do everything he needs to do to end up finding his shot to knock you out. He's got a good jab, right? He didn't work the body much tonight, but he works the body typically. He's got good body combinations. He throws combinations just in general. A lot of these guys don't throw many combinations besides, a couple 1-2s down the middle. And that's kind of what Max does a lot. Max throws a lot of 1-2s down the middle. Now, Max was landing. Max was piecing him up in a couple exchanges, right? He was catching them. Max did well. But it's just the way that Ilia, he's very defensive. He kept his hands up majority of the time, right? Was staying in range. He was putting Max Holloway on Max Holloway's back foot. I'm almost positive I said in the breakdown or the preview, one of the two, that is something that Max Holloway does not want to be, is off his back foot. He's a great fighter even off his back foot, but that's not where he wants to be against a guy like Ilia Topuria. When Ilia can have you backing up and put you up against the cage, he finds his shots. Goes low, he comes up high, goes low and back high. He tricks you out. He tricks you out because he has such fluent boxing, good head movement, good hands, powerful. There is nothing bad to say about the performance of Ilia Topuria at UFC 308. Simple as that. Simple as that. And trust me, I'm sick. I'm a Max fan. I did not want to see Max lose. I would love to see Max get the belt again. But like I said, the passing of the guard happens. And in this sport, it seems like in this sport, especially more than boxing, right? Boxing, it takes a guy to retire before the next guy becomes the big thing, right? Most of the time, at least. MMA gets taken away. It gets taken away, and a new king comes in and he reigns. And who knows? Ilia might reign for 4 or 5 years and then end up getting knocked out by the next guy. We don't know. You don't know how this is going to happen. Or Ilia can go into his next fight, which 90% chance would be Diego Lopez. A lot of people think it might be Volk, but I could see Diego Lopez getting the title shot. If it does, who knows? Maybe Diego Lopez gets it done. Maybe Volk comes back and gets it done. You never know. You never know. The title could change hands at any given moment. But right now, it looks like it's going to be difficult to take away from Ilia Topuria. It's definitely going to be hard for any guy in that division to come through and come in with the proper game plan to one. I think the main thing is you have to knock Ilia out because he's so good at every aspect of the game. He's got a good ground game and his boxing, his hands are great. So there's the only thing you can do is knock him out. And I'm not going to say Max doesn't have the power, right? Because we saw Max knock out Justin Gaethje at UFC 300. But like I said, he was able to, lift, get bigger, get stronger, put on a little bit of mass, put on a little bit of power for that fight. This one, he had to deplete himself to get to 145. It's harder to carry that power, but he will always carry the volume. He always will have that. He always throws a lot of volume. His chin, I still believe, is probably fine. He's still young, right? And he didn't get like cracked, sparked out. He got dropped and pretty much finished. Like didn't quite go out, but was on weary street and didn't need to take any more shots type of thing. Not something that we expected. That's for damn sure. But it happened. It happened. So that's it for my review for UFC 308. It was a good card. If I had to give it a grade, I'll say a B+. I'll say a B+, and I'll say that because I thought the prelims were pretty damn good. The prelims kind of showed some of these guys' skill sets Um, and showed the dog in a lot of these guys. Like I said, that Rebecca versus Oralbe fight, that was just a dog fight, a simple dog fight. So it sometimes when you get prelims like that, you get fantastic fights, and that helped really push what the main card was, and the main card was pretty good too. So I would say total B plus. Good card, good fights. Congrats to everybody who got it done, and finally, ladies and gentlemen, we hit one. We hit a parlay. And I apologize, it's not one that I put in the breakdown. But hey, sometimes that happens. Maybe you should follow me on Instagram, Combat and Kick It. You know, maybe you might catch one on there. So maybe you should do that. Follow me at Combat and Kick It. And you already know. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell notification button so you know when the next episode is out. And I will catch you guys on the next episode. Your boy Bando's out. I am done rambling. Peace.